everyone, and welcome to the Always On live viewing party. I almost forgot to talk because I was chatting in the chat room.
Oh, yeah.
Returning the nice thoughts from the chat room friends. I just realized I've made a terrible mistake, you guys. I forgot my Kleenex today.
Oh, no.
Yep, it's going to be a weeper. It's going to be a weeper. For those of you who are watching who do not know what has happened, what has transpired, I posted on CNET and on my own site last night that I am leaving CNET at the end of this month, and I am pursuing some new adventures. And I want to thank Google Image Search, by the way, for putting together a really outstanding montage of my hairdos.
That's cool. Is that how you got that picture?
Yeah, that is a screen grab of what you get when you do an image search for me on Google.
That's rad.
I was like, oh my goodness. Anyway, so if you haven't seen that blog post, that's what's happening. I'm moving on to some independent adventures that I'm extremely excited about. There will be more details about that coming. But that means that not only is this the last regular episode of Always On, there will be bloopers and best of. Best of is next week, and bloopers is the week after that. But this is the last regular season episode and the last regular episode of Always On ever.
Sad face.
I know.
It's a bummer.
It's kind of a hard thing to say out loud, you guys.
Yeah.
It was easier to blog it, turns out. Actually, it was not easier to blog it. I worked on that blog post all day yesterday, and I was an emotional wreck. I want you to know. There was like weeping, like Brian Tong came by, like walked by my office, and he was like, "Are you?" And I was like, "No!" And then it fell apart. It is. I'm excited. It's really exciting news, but it's super hard to leave Always On. And so right now, while I have all of you in the chat room and all of you watching on the live stream, I would be remiss if I did not say a big, fat, loud thank you to Allison Tom, our supervising producer, Eileen Rivera, supervising producer before her, Lin Fu, who was the only name that I had on my list when I knew I was starting to put together a staff for the show. Lin Fu. Like, if you have Lin Fu, you can get anything done.
Yeah.
Anything. Nick Henry, who also is the person who makes anything happen. If you need to, like, between Allison and Nick, you have one Lin Fu. Just kidding, you guys. You're awesome. Celso Bugatti, Vanessa Perez, and Chris Tao for their amazing editing. Jason Pepper, who was like the best producer ever. Just he was my rock before anybody else worked on the show. Sarah Harbin, who was the person who made me believe we could do it. We had the Eye of the Tiger project. I'm going to start crying any minute now. Bonnie Gannon, Lindsay Turrentine, Mark Larkin for funding it. I can't tell you like how much fun. And of course, Jeff Canada for being like the funnest co-host on earth. I can't tell you how incredible this show has been and how much fun I've had doing it and how proud I am of what we've accomplished. And Stephen Beacham, of course, for hosting our live viewing party every week.
It's been a pleasure, and it's going to be sad to see Always On go because it was such a massive production and it brought all these new people in, new really cool people that we'll probably stay in touch with,
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
No, I know. I feel that's the best part about it. It was like this whole fun new audience of people who were just like so excited, so young, so international. Like it was just a blast. Anyway,
It was a huge show, man.
Yeah.
Like, look at the depth of the show. Like, you saw spaceships launching, giraffes.
That's true.
It's crazy how much stuff you guys did.
That one should have gone to my blog post. I was trying to make this. I was like trying to remember. I'm like, man, I jumped out of a helicopter. I ran a half marathon.
You floated in the air at the gravity. What is that?
Oh yeah, with indoor skydiving.
Yeah, indoor
I rode
skydiving.
on an America's Cup catamaran. Saw a rocket launch. Like really, yeah. I mean, it was definitely the breadth is the perfect way to put it. Like it's just we got to do things that we've never gotten to do before, and it was unbelievable. It's been unbelievable.
Yeah, listening to the planning meetings for your show was painful. You'd be like, maybe we could go to Hawaii and go scuba diving. And I'm like, I want to go to Hawaii and go scuba diving.
Well, yes. There was a little bit of like, guys, you need to keep it on the download. You just cannot talk about Hawaii in the office.
Yeah.
Like, that's not cool. Yeah, so there was definitely some of that. And my apologies to everybody who didn't get to go. But, now that I'm gone, hope it's probably going to free up a ton of budget. So,
hell yeah.
Write your little business plan now. Launch your replacement show. Now's your chance. Yep. So yes, this is the last regular season episode. For those of you who are just trickling into the chat room, there will be a best of and a bloopers next week. Probably no live show for those. But I will be at CNET through basically right after the blooper show.
Yeah.
And then on to new projects.
What's the date again?
October 23rd is my last day. I know. Yeah. But this week's show is awesome. I know you're going to love it. Get your tissues for the end. And let's, because I needed them. This is ironically I've had this amazing outpouring of love and support today, but now this one's going to reignite the rage of the Windows Phone people because it's got the Nokia Lumia 1020 blog torture test in it. However, I do want to mention that right after this show, or this I think on Thursday, the blog post will go up because that is our next giveaway, the Nokia Lumia 1020. So you could win it and give it a better home. Cool. It deserves it. It's a wine-themed episode. It also included like another bucket list thing for me. I got to stomp grapes, which I've always wanted to do. Always wanted to do. It was delightful. A little behind the scenes, by the way. You will notice in this shot that there's a GoPro inside the bucket of grapes that I was stomping because we were like, well, maybe we'll get some cool shots from there. And then Celso came in and he was like, I want you to know I deleted the footage.
Why?
Because it was totally like upskirt. So maybe that footage is actually lurking out there somewhere. I don't know.
Hope not.
But it was hilarious. He's like, yeah, no, we cannot use any of that.
That's funny.
And to the chat room, yeah, I'm totally cool if somebody else wants to do Always On.
I would love to do
somebody else want to host it.
Man.
I know. They're like, you could be replaced. And Thorbeck, you're absolutely right. It's the perfect farewell show with wine. It just needs chocolate. I should have brought some wine, but you know what? I have my green tea. I'm going to go get some Kleenex while it's playing. Please enjoy. I'll be back after the show to say my goodbyes.
All right, here we go.
Ooh. This week on Always On. Oh, it's really pimp. Look how cool it is. Okay, get in there, phone. 1020 vintage. Hi, I'm Molly Wood, and welcome to Always On, the show where we take tech into the real world. This week, we're in Napa Valley, one of the world's premier wine destinations. There are more than 450 wineries here, and as you might imagine, high tech is having quite an impact. We got to look at some of the tools that are helping vintners ensure quality in the fields and in the bottle. In the hills and valleys of Northern California's wine country, vintners are using new tech tools to help them in the winemaking process. At Donna Estates in the Napa Valley, head winemaker Cameron Vauder is using a technology from Oakland-based Fruition Sciences. It can essentially measure a vine's heartbeat using sensors.
We're basically measuring the sap that is flowing from the roots all the way up through the vine and out the leaves. And by measuring the sap and the flow of that sap, we can get an idea whether the vine is under stress and limiting itself, or whether it's essentially running just fine. And so using that, we can make decisions about whether we add irrigation or whether we withhold irrigation. Underneath this foam right here is this device right here, which measures the flow of the sap through the vine. And the way that it works is that we have two temperature sensors, one at the beginning, one at the end, and then we have a heating element here in the middle. Okay. And so by measuring the difference from the sap going in to the sap going out, we can tell how much sap is flowing through the vine.
The data is gathered from the vine and displayed on this software app. It shows on a detailed graph how much water is needed by the month, by the day, even by the minute. How much of a competitive advantage is this? How much of a difference does it make in the quality of the wine?
It can make a huge difference in the quality of the wine. Working with this technology, we started dry farming a lot of our vineyards. And I have vineyards today that I still to this day have not irrigated this year. And 2013 is a very dry vintage in the Napa Valley, and especially here at Donna Estates. And so it can make a real difference.
So that's how you make great grapes. But making great grapes doesn't necessarily guarantee great wine. So we visited Palma's winery, where they're developing new tech to keep an eye on the grapes once they get inside fermentation tanks. To do that, Christian Palmaz and his family have built a fermentation dome that stands as the world's largest underground reinforced structure, or the equivalent of an 18-story building. It's basically like a giant wine bat cave. Inside, there are 24 fermenters, each of which represents the unique flavors, or terroirs, of their vineyards.
So when you have 24 tanks, the complexity, of course, goes up. So we decided to build a system that helps them make decisions algorithmically. In a general sense, we believe fermentation should be a constant rate of change over time. So that information goes into what we call the fermentation schedule. Okay, so you plug this in. The computer takes this information and builds a trend graph. So we can control things like supply temperature, mixing temperatures.
And what do you think is the result? I mean, so if you were trying to manage 24 tanks with no help, would you have 4 great wines and 20 okay wines, you think?
I think what would happen is we'd have more mistakes.
All of the tanks are also connected to iPads or iPhones, so those winemakers can be mobile while monitoring their product 24/7.
So using the iPads at the tank means you don't have to walk back to your laboratory to get the information you need. It's all there on screen. You make the decision while you have the sample in your hand. For example, there are 220 valves behind all these tanks, and they fail sometimes. So from home, you get the alert, and you just come here, you pull up the valve, and you manually close it. We can go back, we can learn from potential mistakes that we committed in the past, and the system can help, in a way, help predict problems before they occur.
Which in the end is really the whole idea. Time for us to take a quick break. When we come back, it is crush time, perfectly ripe for our Nokia 1020 torture test. Welcome back. Now, you may remember that earlier in the season, we road tested the Nokia Lumia 1020. That's the smartphone with the 41 megapixel camera. It is very attractive for photographers, but I wanted to see how it could hold up to a crush season torture test. Time for our torture test of the Nokia Lumia 1020. Now, the test I have in mind today isn't the most likely occurrence, but given that it's crush season and given the theme of this week's show, I thought we would conduct our pressure and moisture test with something special. A little crush of my own. I want you to know, this is kind of a lifelong dream of mine. The lifelong dream didn't involve the phone. Ah, that is so squishy, but it's pretty awesome anyway. Okay, get in there, phone. I think I need to just, you know what? I'm gonna cheat a little bit and bury it. Put that down in there. Okay. I hope it doesn't, like, crack. This is super squishy. Guys, I'm making Windows Phone wine. 1020 vintage. It's kind of slippery. Phone's getting a little slippery. You can see splashing. All right. I'm just gonna let it marinate for a minute. I have grape juice on my hands. Okay. Let's rescue it. Oh yeah. It's pretty wet. I can't do anything with this phone until I rinse it, so sorry, dude, you're getting a double dunking. Okay, right, work. Okay, let me just remind you again that I know perfectly well that I'm not supposed to try to turn the phone on at this point, but here I go. Okay, I felt a vibration, but I'm not seeing much in terms of the screen. Definitely does not want to come back on. So I am going to try to dry it out. Oh wait, it's restarting. You can do it, little Nokia. Don't worry, I'll dry you out. I'll dry you later. Just show us what you got, buddy. Windows Phone. It's on. Look at that. I want to go to the gallery. I want to see if it was recording. Okay, it looks like we may have done some damage to the camera, which is kind of a tragedy, although to be honest, I think I'm gonna do more damage to the camera because you didn't think I was gonna leave out the drop test, did you? So now my phone is all sticky and it's starting to attract bees, so I feel like I need to get rid of it. Oh no, my phone fell. Some water splashed out all around it and grape juice. Got a little dirty. Dirt's now turning to mud. Otherwise, I don't really see much damage at all. I think we should try that again. A lot of water came out that time. No physical damage that I can see. A little bit of a dent right here. But listen, the great thing about these Nokia phones is that they're made like absolute tanks. I really believe that if something's gonna take it out, it's gonna be the water, well, the wine. And that's it. But we are gonna try to dry it out and we'll check back in. I'm pulling for this little guy. I like the yellow. So here is the bag of rice, which the 1020 has been marinating in for several weeks now. I took it out though earlier today and I've been charging it all day, so let's see if I can get it to come on. First I have to see if I can remember which one of these buttons that are totally unlabeled is the power button. I think it's the middle one. It seems like that button doesn't even depress anymore. Okay, there we go. Nothing. Let's try the bottom button. Nothing there. Now, while it was charging, the little Windows light was blinking, and at one point, it sort of restarted itself and gave me the Windows Phone logo, and then said that the battery was dead. But I think what it really meant, unfortunately, was that the entire phone is dead. It was a valiant effort, but even the pretty tough Nokia Lumia 1020 cannot survive being made into wine. All right, moving on, it is time for this week's unboxing. Inside this box, I have a unicorn. I know this box doesn't look unicorn size, but it might as well have one inside. It is the gold iPhone 5S. I wore my gold shirt for the occasion. This phone has been so hard to find that we actually had to borrow one from a friend to unbox. So it's not totally the unboxing experience, but we went ahead and taped it up just so that we could feel the vibe. All right, let's get this thing out of here and see if it's all it's cracked up to be. Okay. Ooh, okay, already you can see you're getting a premium experience because look, there's a little shiny gold edge around the picture on the box. It's like I can't help but make fun of it because it became such a big deal. All right, we have a gold Apple right there. Gold iPhone 5S. They are going all out. There it is. Oh, actually, it's like a lot more gold than I thought it was going to be. That's not very champagne at all. In fact, oh, it's really pimp. Look how cool it is. It sparkles. So the back is matte, as you can see. So it's not quite as sparkly as the edges, but I really like how the bezel and then the Apple right here are, in fact, kind of shiny gold. I'm not gonna lie, it's somewhat premium. Even though I am convinced that the scarcity is artificial, it's still pretty cool. Okay, that's the gold. Now, before I get totally mesmerized, let's see what else is in the box. I'm not expecting any surprises. We have our usual power brick. I actually think Apple could stop shipping these by now and just go with the cable, because really, I got like about 15 of these. Our little lightning cable, and of course, the ear pods in their nice little box. And that is it. Okay, back to the phone. All right, let's fire it up. I don't care, I still wish it had a bigger screen. Don't be trying to seduce me with your shiny gold prettiness when you're still just a 4-inch screen. All right, so, you know, we'll get to the specs while I fire it up and go through the configuration and to see if there's any other gold secrets lurking inside. The new iPhone 5S comes with a 4-inch screen and 3 color options: silver, space gray, or gold. It runs iOS 7, Apple's graphically overhauled operating system, which includes the Android-like control center and AirDrop file transfers. It has a motion tracking M7 coprocessor and a new A7 processor capable of 64-bit computing. Apple says the iPhone 5S is at least twice as fast as the 5. In terms of ports, the headphone jack stays on the bottom with the iPhone 5S, and then you have a Lightning port for charging. It is available in either 16 gigs, 32 gigs, or 64 gig capacity. The The iPhone 5S camera stays at 8 megapixels, but Apple claims major boosts to the sensor. It says the sensor itself is 15% larger and that the pixels themselves are physically bigger, 1.5 microns, even if there are the same number of them. The camera's aperture is larger at f2.2, and basically all of this adds up to better low-light exposure to 3 Plus, the camera has a new burst mode that takes full resolution photos at 10 pics per second. That's better than most DSLRs. The iPhone 5S records video at 1080p with more digital stabilization and 3x digital zoom. And the big fun feature you'll find in the camera is something called slow-mo mode, where you can take a video in slow motion and set the in and out points and be a filmmaker in an instant. In the U.S., Sprint, AT&T, and Verizon are the 3 carriers offering the iPhone 5S under contract, while T-Mobile sells it unlocked for $649 for 16 gigs, $749 for 32, and $849 for 64 gigs. The price with a new contract is $199.99. Then, of course, the headline feature for the 5S is the fingerprint sensor, which I've already set up. When I turn it on, I just use my thumbprint to unlock the phone. Now, so far, the touch sensor, Touch ID, as Apple's calling it, only works with Apple apps. Hopefully, there will be an SDK in the future so that you can use it for banking apps or any other app that requires a password. It's promising. Right now, it's probably not the reason to upgrade, although I have to admit, it's kind of growing on me. I like to unlock my phone that way. I have to say, I did not expect to be won over by the goldness of the gold iPhone 5S, but it is kind of winning me over. If you have an iPhone 4S, then do not get in line for this. Save your dignity and wait for more supply. But I gotta say, for me, I think the gold one is the one to get. Fancy. And now it's time to answer some of your mail. Today's email comes from Ben, who writes, the LG P925 might not be the world's most popular Android cell phone. I personally have never heard of it. But as far as I'm concerned, it is the most durable. Mine has been dropped several dozen times. It has fallen from a second-story balcony onto concrete. It's even been run over by a car. The only damage to it thus far, it's a chip in the battery cover, which resulted from freezing it in liquid nitrogen and throwing it against the wall. I decided to postpone trying to kill it, and luckily so, since now my Note 2 has failed. The USB connector broke during normal use. But as soon as I get the Note fixed, this thing is going through the ultimate test. The 24-hour nitrogen freeze and a 26-story fall. Let me know if you want the video. Ben, I want that video. That's pretty much all I have to say about that, other than I think I also need to go buy that phone. And I have some good news for all of you. The Always On Torture Test Sweepstakes is back. Go to our blog, cnet.com/alwayson, to find out what we're giving away and how you can win it. And of course, keep the feedback coming. Email me, alwayson@cnet.com, or find me on Twitter, Facebook, or Google+. That's it for this week, everyone. And I'm sorry to say that that is also a wrap for Always On. I have had an amazing time working on this show, and I could not be more grateful to the people who worked on it and to all of you for watching it. Next week, we'll have the highlights from Season 5, including some of our amazing torture tests from this past season, and I hope you'll just go and watch the entire run all over again, because I know that I will. Thank you for watching Always On. You guys, this is the best day ever! I have always wanted to do this. Literally, I've always wanted to do this. This and the French Open. And as you can imagine, there's a vowel there. 3, 2. Welcome back, everybody. Now you remain. What the hell? It's just word salad. 3, 2. Oh, good one. Good one. I just really want to point out that Chris Tao is just a mean bastard with that.
Why?
Our editor Chris Tao with the dramatic sad music.
Oh yeah.
I saw that yesterday and I was just like, it was all over. Steven just reminded me that in virtually every single episode of Always On, I have shrieked in delight. This is the best day ever.
Yeah, she's stomping in the grapes. This is the best day ever. I'm sure I know you said it when you were skydiving.
Yep, definitely. No, I've said it. I mean, you're totally right. I would say that on 80% of the episodes, there's been some point where I was like, this is the best day ever. Because it was just that kind of show. Yeah. It's just that kind of show. This makes me feel like a crazy person. But I am with Thorbeck, who says, I feel more happy than I feel sad because he's excited for what's next for me. And I really, really appreciate that sentiment because I, too, am excited about what's next.
Yeah, you're walking out the door, but you're opening 100 other doors.
Yeah.
So
I think I'm walking into a forest of doors, I hope.
Yeah.
And if I totally biff it and I suck out there in the world, I'm pretty sure that CNET will take me back.
Oh, of course, man.
I did that once before. I left. And I came crawling back. Like, what? Why? So for those of you in the chat room who have asked about Always On is really my baby. I mean, that's a show that I developed and executive produced and budgeted and all of that stuff. So I don't think I suggested it, actually. I said, it's cool with me if you want to find another host for Always On. But that did not fly. They don't want to do that. And I think that's understandable. Like it's, it's kind of indelibly my show. So that particular product is ending. I trust that CNET is going to find somebody wonderful to come in here and develop a new show. And they're committed to video and great content. And you'll probably have some pretty girl to look at soon. I don't know. I don't know, but I do know that I am excited. I'm extremely excited about what's next. I hope you guys will be excited too, especially you podcast fans. That's all I can say about that for now, but please keep watching me on Twitter, twitter.com/Mollywood for updates on what's to come. Thank you for an awesome run. I'm just going to go hug my peeps now.
Molly, I just want to say thank you very much for everything you've done for me, for my career. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for you and Brian Tong hiring me to produce Buzz Out Loud. And
that's right.
It's led to so much stuff that I can't even begin to thank you enough. So Thank you very much. And it's been a pleasure to do this show and to watch Always On and hear all my music on Always On.
I know.
I plug myself for my music.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, I don't think you realize, but Steven basically did the sound design for Always On when we started it. He made all the little noises and he made all the music. Yeah, tons of music.
That stuff's totally fun.
That's all Stephen Beacham right there.
Yeah.
The list of credits is long.
But I just want to say thank you again for everything, and it's been really cool to work with you and to know you. And all my friends are like, Molly Wood. What's she like in person? Is she funny? Is she?
Hopefully, you say exactly the same.
Yeah, she's pretty much the same person on camera as she is in real life. So.
It's been such a pleasure to work with you. You were so awesome on Buzz Out Loud. I
miss Buzz Out Loud.
I miss Buzz Out Loud. I know
that was so much fun doing that show. My God,
it was a blast. That's and I gotta tell you. It's that kind of honest conversation and live broadcasting that I miss the most and that I'm the most excited to get back to.
Yeah. And spontaneous creativity. We would just come up with an idea.
Yeah.
5 minutes before the show and it would be happening.
And it would be a segment.
Yeah.
Boom, a segment.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to a lot more. This is the sad part, but the happy part is yet to come. Thanks for watching, everybody. Mwah. See you soon.